Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who have been here with me through this life story, if you're brand new, welcome. Hope you enjoy all the craziness. Hope you learn a lesson. Hope I can help you in some way. If you haven't already, or if you're new, make sure you subscribe below and hit the bell so that way you can get notified when a new video comes up. However, I can tell you, new videos will come up every Wednesday. So, where we left off, I just gotten through my first marriage, and normally if we were going in chronological order, we would move on to my second marriage. However, I'm currently going through a divorce with him, so obviously we can't tell that story. The important things to know for that marriage is didn't work out. I left. But we had a daughter. Her name is Juliana. So other than that, we'll just move right on. And then hopefully I can come back to that story a little bit later because there are lessons to be learned in that story as well. So as you can imagine, now when I move out, I move in with my sister and her husband. I move in with them, and I was by myself with 3 children. Of course, that was not what I wanted. Of course, that was not what I had planned or imagined my life to be like. But that was my reality. So, of course, I was just this bitter, awful, mean, angry person. I just was. People couldn't tell me things. I was just angry all the time. I was bitter about the way my life had turned out or how I felt it had turned out. When people say, oh, the 20s are the best years of your life, and that definitely wasn't the situation for me. That definitely wasn't how my life was turning out to be. So I was just grumpy and angry and probably not the best parent I could have been, probably not the best friend I could have been, not the best anything. And at first, when I first left, I tried dating. I tried, seeing what was out there, and oh my gosh, it was bad. It was bad. It was really bad. And it was just like, I went from one date to the next. And there was a guy that I actually dated for a little bit, and all of them just bad. So at some point, I decided, I need to just take the time for me. I think what happened was I had worked for that company for so long that I was working with, and we got laid off. And so I had to reevaluate my life. What was I going to do? Was I going to go and get another job like that I wasn't really happy in? Yes, it was a good job. I got paid well. I was able to support my children. I was able, to do those sort of things. But I wasn't happy being stuck inside 4 walls all day in a cubicle all day for 8 hours a day. Like, not really. I met the people that I worked with and I was able to talk with them, but not really interacting with people. And I really like that. So I kind of felt like I needed to do something different. So after talking with my family, obviously because I live with them, I decided that I would go back to school. And I would go back to school full time and I would get my degree. So I went to Rio Hondo. I started going to school there, and I was older. I was older than all those 18, 19-year-olds going to school there. So it was easy for me to just focus on what I had to focus on and do well. And most of that time, I didn't date. Literally, I did not go on a date for at least 10 years. And for everybody, it could be different. But I would definitely say that you need time to figure out who you are and what you want to do. And that's what I decided. When I decided that I was going to go back to school, I was going to focus on getting my education. I was going to focus on my children and making their life better and my life better. And I wasn't going to date. I literally said to myself, I'm not going to date. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not saying I didn't go out because I had my best friend. She was a lot younger than me. I couldn't even tell you how many years younger she is, but she is younger than me. Um, and we would go out, but it would just be me and her going out to have a good time. And I think she really helped me get through a lot of that time because she didn't have kids, but she knew that I had 3 kids, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter if I couldn't find a babysitter and we got to do nothing, or she would just come over to my house and hang out with us. It didn't matter what we did. It didn't matter if we were watching a movie. It didn't matter if we were out partying or just doing something at my house, at her house, whatever. We always had a really good time. And so I don't feel like I ever missed out on anything, but I think she helped me grow as a person, helped me learn who I was because she allowed me to be myself. She allowed me to um, just she never judged me for anything, and that's why I say Amanda is my best friend. Yes, I've known Courtney for forever, and Courtney's done a lot for me, but Amanda helped me probably get through really hard times, and by just being her and allowing me to just be me, if that makes sense. Maybe someday you guys will get to meet her. She's a very, very private person. If you guys believe in horoscopes, she is a Scorpio. And she does not like people to know anything about her. So I don't know if that will actually be a possibility, which is funny because we're kind of the opposite. I'm an open book and she's not. Um, but she really did help me get through a lot. So so I would, during that time, our life was I say our, meaning me and mine and my kids, life was a lot about sports, a lot about softball. We can talk about a whole softball episode all in itself. Um, and just to give you guys a little, I played softball my whole life. My daughter played softball her whole life. So I knew the game. I know how the game is played. I've been there when it evolved. I paid for her for lessons. I mean, the whole thing. Like I said, we can have a whole episode on softball because I love it. Um, but I really focused on that. And I focused on that because she was good at it and she liked it. She liked to do it all the time. So it made it easy. It wasn't like I was having to force her. She was begging me, "Oh, can we do this? Oh, can we go to practice? Oh, can we do hitting? Oh, can we do?" So it just busied up my life along with school and along with, I was the type of parent who wanted to be there for my kids. So I would make my school schedule around their school schedule. So basically I would start school about between 9 and 10 because they started school between 8 and 8:30 depending on where we were at, where if they were elementary, junior high, high school. And they would get off about 3, so I would try to be done with school by 2. Obviously that doesn't mean I'm done with homework, but in class I was done by then. That was the time that I actually met a really good friend. Her name is Monica. This is, I think, to the point where I was already kind of learning who I was, and I realized that I wanted to be a completely different person, and I had to completely change myself. I had to, I wanted to stop yelling. I wanted to help people. I wanted to, there was just things, I didn't want to be angry. I didn't want to be mean. That was way further, you know what I mean? It took years for me to even get to that point. But I think it was consciously telling myself, consciously like reminding myself, like, you were not this person once upon a time. Your circumstances made you this person, and you could be the person that you used to be, really nice, really calm, really quiet. But it's going to take effort. It's going to take time. I'm going to have to break down my own walls because I had put up so many to get through the situations that I had. So, I just decided, I remember struggling when my kids, and when I was working full time and, trying to find how was I going to pay for babysitting. Babysitting's so expensive. And I remember Monica just needing a babysitter for her 2 little girls. And Monica is such a positive person. And I'm sure she has her own struggles and her own things. But, it was, sorry, my phone's going off. I thought I turned it off. It was having a positive person like that in my life every day, because I babysat her kids every day. And really, when I say babysit, it really wasn't even that much. It was like 30 minutes in the morning, and I would drop them off at school, and then I would pick them up from school. And she was a teacher, so she got off, but she just needed time to get to where, to where we lived. So maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, but she brought a lot of positivity into my life. And I don't even think she probably realized it. Like, her and her daughters helped me in so many ways because I was able to help them. It made me feel important. So, just, going through that time and knowing and deciding, it's hard. It's not easy. Um, but I ended up going, after I was at Rio Hondo, I ended up going to Cal State Fullerton. I, if you once you get to that point, if you decide to go to to a JC, once you get to the four-year college or the university, I feel like it goes so fast. I feel like you already put in all your hard work before. Once you get there, I mean, it just flies. At least that's how it seemed to me. I met some very good people while I was there. And I think, just being around people who had the same goals, the same ideas, the same, desires and dreams, like it helped make me that better person. Um, at that time, I decided to go back to work, just to slowly get my feet wet back, and I needed to go somewhere where they were flexible with my school schedule, with my kids. And at this point, my kids are older. Alexis was in high school, so I could leave them with Alexis, and she was probably like 16, 17, and not have to worry about them, you know? So that's what I did. I didn't go to work every day. I only worked, I think, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that was just at the beginning, just, a little bit here and there. But, they always say that people come into your life and out of your life for certain reasons, for certain times. And that definitely was the case. When I was first at the beginning, I felt like I was hanging out with people who encouraged me to be crazy, who encouraged me to be loud and I always would get kicked out of softball games because I was yelling at the blue or whatever, and it was just that's Liz, and I was tired of just being that person. So I consciously made the decision to, you know, be a better person, to try new things, to, go back to the things that I knew that I liked. I loved to read. I loved to, do those reading. I loved to read books. I loved to get away. I loved all that. And I hadn't read in such a long time, and I hadn't done crafts in such a long time that I'm like, I need to start doing things that make me happy. Um, and I did, like with my kids, we would do things, we would go and things were great. And so I graduated with my degree in liberal studies, I want to say in 2017.
I'm reminding you, get the laundry.
Alexa, off. Sorry, my Alexa's going off, reminding me that my laundry's done. So, just take your time. Don't rush into things. Don't feel like you're falling behind schedule of your life plan. Trust me, things don't ever go as planned. And that's okay, because I wouldn't be the person I am today if I didn't learn all those lessons on the way there. This basically leads up to when I graduated. When I was getting close to graduating, I thought maybe after I'm done and I graduate and I get a job and a sufficient job, I'll start dating again. My kids are older. It had been at least 10 years since I've actually been on a date. I mean, for a while I thought that I was going to be single forever. I thought this is just what my life is meant to be. I had completely given up on dating, and I just wasn't going to do it. I just wasn't going to do it. I don't want to get too much into it, but about, I don't know, a couple months, maybe 4, 5, 6 months, I'm not sure. That's when I met the old man. So I don't really want to talk too much about the old man. I think he definitely deserves his own episode. And you guys will definitely, after that episode, will get to meet him. Um, but yeah, that's a whole crazy story in itself. Um, but like I said, um, learning who you are can come easily for people. You might figure it out when you're younger. You might figure it out in a couple years. For me, it took a long time. And there were many nights that I cried myself to sleep because I didn't know what I was going to do. It wasn't the life that I wanted. It wasn't the life that I had planned. But I knew that if I stayed strong to my dreams and my goals, that eventually it would happen. And, I think I've gotten finally to a place where I can be happy. But it took me many, many years, 10. I'm going to say at least 10 for me, you know, and that's because I went through so many struggles from a young age, from a very young age, and it just made me a miserable person. So when you become a miserable person, you gotta break down a lot of walls to get through that. And I went to therapy. I'm not gonna lie, like therapy, I needed it. I definitely needed it. And did it work boom right away? No, of course not. Like I still had to figure out who I was. I still needed time to do all that soul searching and figure out, remember who I was as a kid. Because when you're a kid, you're your genuine self. You don't know any better, And so I had to figure out how to do all that again. Um, and it was just through, friends, good people, taking out the bad and bringing in the good. Um, and not that those people were bad. It's just that was a different part of my life. That was a different time. That was, you know, different things. I needed different things at that time. And then coming over into my new and trying to figure out what was going to help me get to where I wanted to be. So, not that I would ever say that those people were bad because they're not. And I still see some of those people and I love them and they helped me get through a certain part. But knowing where I want to be and what I wanted to do and, growing. And so, of course, my family was there along the way. Of course, they helped me do way more than I could have imagined. And I wouldn't have had my life go any other way because I think that going through what I've been through made me a much better person, made me stronger, made me who I am today and ready to meet the old man. So, that'll be it. It's a little bit of a short video, a little bit boring. Don't worry though. If you guys want to know how me and the old man met, that will be in the next video. So make sure that you comment below. How about let's go with your favorite book, since that's what I love to do. Tell me what's your favorite book, maybe your favorite author. It doesn't matter. I could do a whole video on books, so let's not even go there. But thank you for watching this video, and I hope you continue to like this content. Make sure if you do and you want to hear more that you subscribe below. Thanks. Bye.